Welcome back to Of the Wild and Sacred, where we explore power, pleasure, and presence for women over 40. In episode 1, I shared my own story, my body shifts, the grief, and the unraveling of identity, and how all of that brought me to this place of deeper listening. Who am I becoming now? I also said something about that may have surprised you that perimenopause isn't just about your period. It's not just a hormonal event. So let's clear this up first. So perimenopause doesn't start when your period ends. It begins 8 to 12 years before your period ends, your final menstruation. And for many of us, that means it starts in our mid 30s to late 40s. And it's a complete reorientation of your body, your nervous system, your identity, your own energy. And for most women, no one prepared us for this. Estrogen and progesterone, I'm going to say this hormone stuff, but they just don't decline. They swing unpredictably. Some days you feel fine, and then others you are wondering who took your body, who took over your body, right? And we heard things from older women in our lives, but never really have that real conversation with them. We're just left to figure it all out in the dark. And so some women seem to glide through this phase, right? Why is that? Why do they just glide over it? And for some, it's mostly really physical, but for many of us, it hits us on every level: emotional, spiritual, psychological, energetic. And I hear many women from my community say, I'm still bleeding monthly, but I feel different. I've gained weight. I can't lose it. My moods are intense. I'm anxious. I'm snappy. I'm exhausted. And these are not just random symptoms, they are signals. So let me offer you a new lens of how we see this. Perimenopause is something sacred, something soulful. Your whole system is trying to adjust: your nervous system, metabolism, libido or libido. I don't know how to say it. I'm like, I have this accent, right? Libido, mood, and it's a nervous system shift. It's an identity initiation and a call back to your deepest power. And here's one more reframe. This shift is just as big as puberty, and yet we treat it like a glitch to fix instead of the right to honor. And so today we're going there, right? We're going to explore what perimenopause really is and what that means for your power, your ability to live aligned with your truth and not obligation, not just people pleasing and chasing, but from your own center. What that means for your rhythms, how your energy moves now, your sleep, your hunger, your creativity, your capacity to care and give, and your own presence, the way you take up space, and move through the world and to relate to everything around you. So, if you feel like your fuse is shorter and your brain fog is heavy and you're wide awake at 2:30 in the morning wondering what's happening to you, you're not failing, you're just in this transition period. Let me say something about estrogen. Your estrogen has really quietly been doing a lot behind the scenes, and it's not just for your reproductive system, but for your brain also. It's just like a buffer that makes your world feel manageable. So when it dips, suddenly everything feels louder, sharper. So before we gave many Fs, but now you have 0 Fs to give, right? So like life is pressing in from every direction. Now it feels like just when you feel least able to handle it. So you used to juggle 10 things without blinking, right? Now 3 feels like a lot. And here's why. Your stress threshold is changing. and your brain chemistry, your other types of hormones, serotonin and dopamine, are all impacted by your estrogen, and you might feel ragey one day, weepy the next, and numb after that. And even though those feel foreign to you, or maybe you're used to that, it is there's wisdom in it. And from Ayurvedic lens on this shift, in Ayurveda, this is the shift into the Vata stage of life. Vata, V-A-T-A, governed by air and space elements. And I'll explain that to you. It's the quality of more spaciousness, and it's a very subtle phase. And it's you will see some dryness, restlessness, and a feeling of being a little unanchored around this stage. So, in terms of your digestion, not just food, digesting food, but of thoughts and emotions and experiences begins to change at this stage of life also. We have what we call Agni, and I'm saying all these kind of weird words, and just bear with me on this. Our Agni is our digestive fire. It weakens in this stage of life. So you might notice more bloating, physically, constipation, or a sense that you're just not metabolizing food or life the way you used to. So this is not just about physical food or physical body. It's about how you digest your life, your ojas. So again, another word, but this is your deep vitality that gives you glow, groundedness, and resilience becomes more precious at this time of your life, because we have certain amount of vitality within our body. Your prana, another word, your life force, needs calming and not stimulation in this stage of life. So that's why when you hear about Ayurveda, they talk about oil massage, breath work, stillness, warmth, being lovingly held, because they just don't feel good. It's really a medicine to help with this stage of life. They help you rebuild your vitality, your ojas, calm your nervous system, your prana, and bring your system back to steadiness. And so now you're not really overly sensitive, right? So just reframe this. You're becoming more attuned, and your body's asking you to stop overriding your truth and honor the pace that matches this stage, right? And so again, perimenopause is not really a detour on the way to the end. It's not something you fix. It's a threshold, like I mentioned before. It's a transition in between space that you're crossing over between who you have been for many years and who you're becoming next. It's like you're being initiated. So if you think about the female archetypes, from mother to queen, from caretaker to creatrix, from doing to being. And no one told us this. Most of us are left to fend for ourselves during this change. And I was just talking to a dear friend a few weeks ago, someone I've known for decades, and she's always been this nurturing, dependable one. And yet she confided in me that she's really struggling at this stage deeply, and she doesn't know who she is anymore. And it's one thing to really hear this from clients or women in my community, but when a close friend names the same type of experiences that I've felt in my own life also, it really hits differently. It's very intimate, it's real, it makes it more real for me. But the Western world pathologizes, and what's the word? Pathologizes this season, and medicine sees it as a bundle of just symptoms to suppress, like it's something like a phenomenon that we need to cure. And our culture wants you to stay productive and palatable and pleasing, right? And keep going, don't complain, stay useful. But this is a natural stage of life, just like puberty, but in reverse. When I say in reverse, it just means What your soul wants now is the opposite of what you've been conditioned to pursue. It's a turning point and a shift in the direction. Only no one prepared us for it. And the truth is, how we lived up until now, how we lived a few years back. Ayurveda teaches us that we live in three main life stages. For most of our adult life, we've been in Pitta stage. Another word, it's the fiery, driven stage of building and doing and reproducing, building your family, and all that good stuff that served us. But now we begin transitioning into this Vata stage of life, the air and space, a more subtle, quieter, intuitive phase. So there's a big change in those elements and in those characteristics. And if we've been burning our candle at both ends, overriding our needs, pushing through, this stage doesn't let that slide. This is where you would see the difference, and it calls us into reckoning. So your body isn't just slowing down, it's really reorienting. And your soul, she wants something else, right? She's tired of pretending. She's ready for truth, for rest, for clarity, for radiance that is not from hustling. Right? So again, you're not losing yourself. You're meeting the next version of you. And you don't have to rush it to fix it all. And sometimes all you need is to really just sit and feel it all and figure it out, right? But you do need to listen. What is your body asking for? What is your spirit done pretending about? And this is not a pause button on your life. It's you just recalibrate on how you live, how you love, and how you lead. And so, what can you do this week? Okay, try these three things, not just to fix it, but as just an invitation. Just be curious about it to tend to this transition. In Ayurveda, we like to oil our body. I hope to share more about why. But even just your feet before bed, warm sesame or almond oil calms your nervous system and rebuilds that ojas, that vitality reserve that we have, that we are kind of losing because of years of pushing, right? And it's not luxury, you're repairing it. And then another simple one, when you're in the thick of things, put a hand on your womb or over your heart and just breathe, just for even a minute or 3 minutes a day without agenda. Just feel your body, be there for yourself, meet yourself, listen to really what's underneath the noise. And then the last thing too that really is helpful for me is to really track how often you override your body's no. When you notice yourself pushing and pleasing or powering through, just pause for a moment, breathe. That's not really a weakness, it's just a habit that we keep doing. And that's the moment where your power begins to rebuild by just knowing what is no to you and expressing that. So, reflect on this. If this season of life was wise, if it was soul level important, what would you stop doing out of obligation? And what would you start honoring as essential? All right. In the next time that we will talk about why your libido is changing. This is making me laugh because I cannot say the word. And how to gently reconnect with your sensual body, even if you feel tired, dry, or invisible, right? And this one lives in the pleasure pillar of this podcast. And it's not just about sex, it's about feeling alive again in your own skin. So don't miss it. Again, thank you for being here. If you love this episode, please subscribe and share it with a friend. You can also visit ofthewildandsacred.love and AND, you spell it out, sacred.love, to learn more about the offerings I've created to support you, and visit me on Instagram at Ayurvedic Tantra Healing. Until then, stay in your body, stay close to your truth, and never forget your wild is sacred.